Welcome to the Bougie Baldie Podcast with your host, Kellie Rhymes.
Welcome to the Bougie Baldie Podcast. I'm Kellie, as you all know, and I have a special guest today. Her name is Jasmine McKoy. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Jasmine so we can jump on in, okay? Because she has some good information to share with us, okay? So, Jasmine McKoy is a certified cranial prosthesis specialist. She's the owner of JMD Solutions, LLC, which is a non-surgical hair replacement center that provides cranial prosthesis, medical wigs, to people who suffer from medically induced hair loss. She assists individuals that are diagnosed with alopecia, cancer, burn victims, thyroid disorders, scalp prostheses, and more to obtain medical wigs that are covered by their health insurance companies. So basically, she gets wigs covered by health insurance companies if it's for a medical condition. Now, she has been diagnosed with alopecia, and she was diagnosed 26 years ago. And her scalp is completely bald, as you can see on the video if you are watching. Her passion is to help others like herself gain an extra boost of confidence because she knows firsthand the things that we deal with physically, mentally, and emotionally. Welcome, Jasmine McKoy. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I want you to tell everyone, what else do we need to know about Jasmine?
So, I am also the owner of a nonprofit organization, which is called the Beauty Within Foundation, where I educate the public on alopecia and I mentor young girls. And under my nonprofit, everyone doesn't qualify for the insurance sector. We'll get into that a little later. But for those who don't qualify, the proceeds from my for-profit business, I put it into my nonprofit and I provide those that don't qualify with wigs as well.
Okay.
And I put on events in our community to just bring the bald ladies together, because everyone isn't as comfortable as I am. Alopecia isn't a one size fit all. So I try to, form a support group in my area. I am also Miss Black, North Carolina, USA. I was newly crowned in December that just passed. So in August, I'll be going to nationals in DC to run for Miss Black USA.
Okay, look at you, Jasmine. Thank you for sharing that. Now, you mentioned in just a little bit, and I mentioned it in your bio, that of course you have alopecia. So,
Yes.
what type of alopecia do you have?
So I believe I have alopecia universalis at this point.
Okay.
I was diagnosed with alopecia areata at the age of 7, and then I was completely bald by the time that I was 9.
Okay.
So I wore wigs up until the time I was 9, up until last year.
Okay.
No one had ever seen me.
So, you have to tell us,
Okay.
how did you transition from wearing a wig all of those years to not wearing a wig? I mean, because that's a big thing. If you were wearing it since 7, that was a part of you, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
So during the process of me wearing, the wigs or whatever, I have been through so many different courses of treatment with alopecia. As far as I was on meth, I've done the shots, I've done all the different types of pills, tofacitinib, the barbacinative, and just different types of things. So the last medication that I was on, I had gotten really sick and I was like sick.
Okay.
So I decided that, you know what, this is who I am. Like, I've been dealing with this since I was 7 years old. Obviously, this is who God wants me to be. And I'm tired of hiding behind these wigs to make me feel whole, because when I take them off, I still feel that same hurt and brokenness. So one night I got on my knees and I prayed to God, and, we was talking about some things, and I said, God, what is it in me that is so broken that makes me want to feel like, I can't go out and be who I am. And, he spoke back to me and he told me, I can't heal you from something that you're hiding from. And maybe like a week went by and we had this big event in our area, and I just showed up to the event without a wig on. It was like a
Okay.
really big community event.
Uh-huh.
And people was like, girl, who is that with that? And I laughed and stuff. And I didn't, it was a better outcome than what I expected. And then I was just comfortable. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I can do this. And
Mhm.
I just
Mhm.
been myself ever since. And the transition is just awesome. It's just awesome on all levels.
Yes, yes. And thank you for sharing that because a lot of people need to hear it. There are still women out there that are still wearing their wigs. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but they're wearing the wigs just to cover up and hide, and they're tired of doing it too. That is the same way I felt. I was tired of wearing those wigs, and I was living in Arizona. So it was hot, and I
Right,
was just like, nope, I'm done with this. I don't want to do it, and I want to show up authentically. I just want to be me and I want to be free. And once I
right,
made that decision, it was just so freeing. Weight lifted off of my shoulders. I was just like, I can breathe. Oh,
right.
thank you. Okay. Well, now that you have shared some information about yourself, let's get into what everybody wants to know about. Now, this topic came up twice in the last 2 weeks for me. I was in a support group for the Scarring Alopecia Foundation, and people were asking about getting their wigs covered in there. So I was like, I've heard about that, but I didn't really know much about it. And then in a Facebook group that we both belong to, there were people asking again. And that is how I met Jasmine. I actually saw her because she responded to a post. And I'm like, girl, this is divine timing because I need this information and we need to share it with everyone. So I asked Jasmine to come on and give this information. So let's go ahead and start with just step number one. When a person, okay, let me stop there. Not even step number one, because we have to get the definition and the term correct. We are used to saying wigs, but when we want to get wigs covered, we can't say wigs. So, Jasmine, can you tell us what terms do we need to use to get our wigs covered?
So, whenever you're getting your wig cover, you would ask your doctor for a prescription for a cranial prosthetics or cranial prostheses. So, whereas you would go to, like a medical supply store and get a walker or a wheelchair or whatever,
Mhm.
it's the same process.
Okay. Okay. So we cannot say wig when we're speaking
No,
with an insurance company. We need to make sure we're saying cranial prosthesis. Okay. So
cranial
make sure
prosthesis.
you guys are using the correct term or you will definitely be denied. Now, I know all insurance companies may not cover it, but some do. When a person has hair loss, they go to the doctor. What do they need to do next?
Okay, so first you have to get a diagnosis. So, from what I have experienced, the insurance company will cover you if you have have been diagnosed with any form of alopecia, if you have thyroid issues, psoriasis, cancer victims, burn victims, I think hormonal imbalances or anything of that sort. So you have to get a diagnosis. So once you get a diagnosis from your doctor, then they will give you a prescription, and then you would come to me or a cranial prosthesis specialist and take them your prescription. And then once you give them your prescription, they'll do all of the paperwork with your insurance company, and then you'll just get your free wig.
Okay. All right. Now, I know that you can't just go in anywhere
Right.
and get and ask them for a receipt and get this covered, right? So, how do people go about finding the right specialist to go to so that they can get their wigs covered?
So just like any other specialist where you would look it up under your insurance directory, I am listed under the insurance directory. So you could look up either like cranial prosthesis specialist in your area, or if you have a certain person, then you would see if they are in network with your insurance company.
Okay. Okay. Do you have to, or should you, I should ask, should you contact your insurance company ahead of time just to see if this is even an option to be covered? Or like, do they cover it? Or do they all just cover it as long as you have one of these conditions?
For the most part, everyone covers it. I know in some states it's a little bit tricky with Medicaid and Medicare. But I know that Congress are working on some things right now to get it covered under Medicaid and Medicare.
Okay, but see, I didn't even know that this would be covered under Medicaid and Medicare. I
Oh
was
yeah,
just thinking regular
this has
insurance,
become
private, you know.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so now we all know if you have Medicaid or Medicare, you can also get this covered, or if you have just regular private insurance, it can still be covered. Got it. All right, so do people have to, and you might have said this and I may have missed it, so forgive me if I did. Do people have to pay up front for the wig and then get reimbursed, or does the insurance company directly pay you?
So the insurance company directly pays me, but it
Okay.
depends on everybody's case is different. So it depends on what insurance you have and what level of insurance you have. So whereas you may have one insurance company or one you may have Blue Cross and Blue Shield and I'll have Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Mhm.
Mine may cover 100% and yours may only cover 80%. It just depends on, which plan that you have under your provider.
Okay. Okay. Now, in the case that someone is trying to get a cranial prosthesis and it gets rejected, what would be the next steps to do in that case?
If it gets rejected, it could be like a grammatical error or, either the insurance company doesn't won't cover them. So if the insurance company doesn't cover them, then of course, they would have to pay out of pocket. But, certain providers such as myself, I accept like FSA and HSA as well. I have the process reader for that and care credit and different other, financial options that for medical issues.
Okay. Okay. So do you also offer like your own financing, like Afterpay or Affirm, like those types of things for people who may need that kind of thing?
I can offer it, but I haven't offered it because I haven't run into an issue to where the insurance
It was
company hasn't
necessary.
covered it.
Okay. 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 Now I do know, because just in general about medical stuff, that also if people are having issues with getting something approved, they can always do an appeal process. Have you ever had to go through that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So yeah, so just so in case anybody doesn't know, if you ever have any kind of issues with your insurance company not covering anything, they deny you for something, you can always go through an appeal process and have your documents resubmitted and looked at and give them updated information to try to get that approved again. So just that's like a blanket statement, but it could come in handy in this situation if someone happens to get denied, maybe because of a typo or something like that.
Right.
So, what would be maybe the do's and don'ts? Like, what would be your advice to someone who's coming to you, don't know anything about wigs, don't know anything about this process? What are some things I should say? Let's start with the do's. So, what advice would you give them? How would you kind of walk them through selecting and what do you do? Like, do you actually make the wigs yourself or do you buy them? Like, tell me about all of that.
So I outsource my wigs, but they are all custom made.
Okay.
So what I do is I have them come in for a free consultation and I measure the wigs. I let them look at the wigs that I have, on my wig stands and
Okay.
they can either choose between those and then we have them custom made to fit their head or, to fit the area because some people they may want to wear their hair out and then they may want to wear like a topper. So a topper is like a certain type of wig to where it just goes. Then we have like the polyurethane wigs. There are so many different types. So I have them come in and I have them, pick out what it is that they like. They choose from the different skins and the different lace types. Somebody may be allergic to this or somebody's skin type may not fit this type of lace. So I have them come in and I have them pick out what it is that they like. I take their measurements. I send them off to my vendor and have, the wig custom made, the cranial prosthetic custom made. And then, they come in and I style it for them. Or if they're like someone that's out of town, then I ship it to them.
Okay. And that was going to be my next question. So for people who are not because you're in Fayetteville, correct? North
I
Carolina?
am. Fayetteville,
Okay.
North Carolina.
So for anyone who's not in the area, you can help them via online service. So how would that process go? I know you just said you had to measure their head and they have to pick, certain lace and hair and colors and things like that. So how do you help those people who are virtual?
So we do everything virtual. So, I normally ask them to pick up a measuring tape, which is normally like $1. You can find it at Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, anywhere like that. And then we go through the process and I show them how to measure their head and I take down their measurements and then they pick out what styles they like and then I ship it to them.
Okay. See, I didn't know like if it was going to be a difficult process for somebody to measure their own head. I know it's probably a certain way you need to do it. So you just basically give them the instructions, they do
Right.
it.
So we do it through Zoom and I walk them through each step of the process.
Okay. See, I didn't know if you had them doing it on their own. And I'm like, well, have you ever had anybody give you the wrong measurements, but you're on Zoom with them? So that's good because I know if it was me, I would be like, can we double check or can you make sure? Because I do not want to send the wrong measurements and get a wig that does not fit my head. So okay. So I'm glad that that's just, you'll be right there with that person. So you guys, Jasmine will be with you along the entire way, whether you're in Fayetteville, North Carolina, or if you are anywhere in the nation or the world. Do you ship worldwide? I'm just going to ask. Okay, there you go. She has a global business. Okay, so if you are in need of a cranial prosthesis, make sure you get in contact with Jasmine. So Jasmine, give us your contact information and let everybody know how they can reach out to you, follow you, and all of those things.
So I am on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a website, JMD Solutions, NC.com. And I am on Facebook and Instagram under JMD Solutions.
Okay. All right. So if they go to your website, is there a form for them to fill out and you'll just contact them back or?
Well, they can either book a consultation through my website and then I will contact them back and we start the process that way.
Okay. All right. Now, I think that covers everything about cranial prosthesis. Is there anything you may want to add that we did not talk about? Because I don't think I have any additional questions.
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, then my last question is just going to be to you directly. What is next for Jasmine?
I don't know. So many doors are opening up and it's just like every day is just something and something and something. And I'm just, at this point, I'm just trying to process it and take it all in.
Yes. Well, I do want to thank you for being an advocate for women with hair loss, whether that's alopecia, and I know that's your focus, but I know you probably serve and support way more women that have hair loss in general versus just alopecia. So thank you for serving us as a community. I know it's a difficult thing, and you know this too, it's a difficult thing losing your hair, but we are here to support and uplift each other because we all still have a life to live and we still have to move forward in that life and we cannot let hair loss hold us back. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So thank you so much, Jasmine, for joining me today. And you guys, if you want to reach me or look up any of my information, you can go to my website at www.limitlessmindsetcoach.com. I will have all of Jasmine's contact information in the description of this episode. So don't worry if you did not catch it. It will be in the description. So just go down there and copy and paste it so that you can reach out to Jasmine and make sure you get your cranial press covered by the insurance company, because we don't want to have to pay for these expensive wigs out of our pocket. I know I have spent a lot of money on wigs that are now sitting in a tote because I have not worn them since 2019. All right, well, that is all we have for today, and I will see you guys next time. From my heart to yours. Are you a woman struggling with hair loss, feeling unattractive and insecure? At Limitless Mindset Coaching, we understand the emotional toll that hair loss can take. But in just 90 days, we will help you transform from feeling lost and embarrassed to radiating confidence and joy. Imagine building your self-esteem, discovering perfect camouflage techniques to cover up your hair loss, receiving tips and tricks that can help with your hair loss, and embracing the new you while connecting with a supportive community of women just like you. Say goodbye to those negative emotions and hello to a positive mindset. Picture vibrant new relationships, walking into the room with your head high, participating in social events and activities again, and living a life filled with happiness. Ready to take that first step? Just visit www.limitlessmindsetcoach.com or click the link in the description today, and let's embark on this empowering journey together.
Thank you for watching the Bougie Baldie Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe